Good evening everyone, welcome to the Activity Hub Bali presents the V8 Supercar Oval Series, coming to you live on your Sunday night right across Australia and across the world, of course, wherever you're watching from. I hope you're sitting comfortably and ready for another good race here tonight. Just jumped in at the start of qualifying here, on board with Aidan Schultz, who is about to do the second of his laps. We're looking for purple as always. For those of you who been on the stream before, purple is the currency that we want to see. So we'll see who can get fastest, as Justin Witcher is currently on a provisional pole position, 43.15. And looking strong to take it out. Actually, he's got a reasonable gap over Sean Hurley, who's currently in second. However, there are a few runners yet to complete a lap. We'll jump on board with Michael Skurlock. He is one of those runners. And put in his banker lap yet. In fact, he just completes it there. A little slower than we expect to see from him. 43.64, about halfway down this field. So we've got about 18 cars on the grid tonight, which is an improvement over last week. And good to see more of the guys getting out and about, getting involved in this one. So we are here for a 200 kilometre race. California 200 is what it's called. It's round 9 of this new series. And looking at a 100 lap race. It did miss last week. We have gone away from the phases set up in this series. Actually only got 3 rounds to go after this one. And still just working out how to make it run the best way possible for the drivers, for the viewers. And deciding that phasing system that they had just wasn't quite working. And making some changes on the run to make sure that people keep coming back to race as well. I think they just decided too many caution periods, not conducive to the best racing. So I'll have a look at that again in the off-season. So there are only 3 rounds to go after this one. Justin Witcher still with the best lap out of everyone. Michael Skurlock moving himself up to 3rd on that last effort. And yet to do a lap, Raymond Yeager, of course. Strong performance from him last week. Barry Neal as well. So only 2 drivers who can potentially take pole position away from Witcher. And that is the conclusion of qualifying. So, 17 cars on the grid. Let's bring the grid up here and have a look at it for you for Activity Hub Bali. We've got Justin Witcher and Sean Hurley off the front row, with Skurlock and Aaron Dillon off row 2. Row 3 sees Greg Spencer and Michael Shaw up into 6th position. Good performance from him. Steve Williams and Christopher Finlay off row 4, with Aidan Schultz and John Murphy, one of our international drivers, on row 5. Derek Jacobs, the other, off row 6, with Nigel Patton going to be sitting next to him when they line up. As we move through to see the remainder of the grid, it's Gary Wellman, Stephen Payne. And we have Paul Jackson and Barry Neal. And off the back row, Raymond Yeager didn't actually put in a banker lap at all. So as we jump in here, just have a quick look at the Auto Club Speedway, which is where we are hosted this evening. 25-degree track temperature, small tailwind as well. And that's ambient temperature. The track temp a whopping 41 degrees. So tyre conservation is going to be important here, like it is every week. But over that 100 lap period, the drivers have 3 sets of tyres they are able to use. They have 1 fast repair that they are able to use. And let's see how they manage themselves throughout the race tonight. If you are joining us in the chat, welcome. Thank you for joining the coverage. Get all the information up on screen here so you can follow around with your favourite driver. And we will go from there. As we start to move out onto the track to get this one underway. As I said, 100 laps tonight. It's going to be a stinger. 41-degree track temperatures as well in car. As the cars all file out there. Would be very, very hot indeed. Introduced a couple of extra camera angles for you tonight, including this one. So we are doing plenty of work to keep improving the stream. I'm really excited to let you know about some news in the coming weeks about the channel and everything that we've been working on, culminating in a few changes here as well. So looking forward to that one, but you'll have to tune in a few weeks' time for that. So start to wind things down for 2020. What a year it's been. Our first full year of streaming on FGM eCast. But still plenty to do with this series being the one that will culminate before the end of the year. Our last race on December 20. Of course, only 3 weeks away. Wow, already into the end of November as we're about to get racing and we're off and running. It is Justin Witcher and Sean Hurley at the front of the field getting things underway. Expected race time here, just over an hour. With definitely 2 pit stops required. We did see that last week. Drivers using those stops throughout as required. Thanks very much for tuning in once again, Gavin. You can see there's a couple of shooting off down onto the apron. So we try this another new camera angle, which I love, off the wall there. Thanks very much for that, Brad. Appreciate the support. So we've got Christopher Finlay ducking into pit lane early here. Sean Hurley has managed to move his Falcon up into lead. And as usual, got Michael Skurlock running his own line. He does this every week, does it with some mastery and skill. He's using the top lane. Everyone else at the moment trying to find some pace in that bottom lane. So we'll see what happens. The camera shake on as well. Look at that, it looks fantastic. You can see me in a geek coming out. Just enjoying the new cameras and stuff like that we've put in. It's looking good, so just loving it. But it is Hurley, Witcher, Dylan, Skurlock and Aidan Schultz, your top 5. Then we've got Spencer, Williams, Wellman, Jacobs and Paul Jackson, who has just moved up into P9. Battling out with Derek Jacobs. So we've got a couple of packs forming early as we expect. But as you know, anything can happen here. Quite a long pit lane re-entry here at Auto Club Speedway as well. This is the driver down there, that blue cone indicating the point on the track where the driver can actually re-enter the circuit without any sort of penalty for an unsafe re-entry. We actually had our longest green flag run last week, something around 70 laps, which was good, great, excellent. I don't know what you want to describe it. Any of those adjectives would work. A little tap on the wall there. Skurlock shoots down onto the inside, trying to make some extra room for himself. There's Aaron Tillon now out into the lead. So Aidan Schultz paid the price a little bit there. I should say Sean Hurley paid the price a little bit there. Just getting hung out to dry. And that resulted in him just dropping a few places. So he's down into 5th, but very early on here. So it's a matter of sticking with the main pack. I see we've got a Monster Energy livery joining the ranks this week on Aidan Schultz's car. Looks good there. Oh, as he's getting the benefit of the draft, they're just not quite able to stick it into the gap there between Dylan and Skurlock. Looking down the field at some of our other battles that are forming. So this one here, we've got Spencer and Williams fighting it out. A little bit further back, we've got Paul Jackson and Gary Wellman fighting. Raymond Yeager, he's making his way up the field. There he is there, coming through in the Autobahn entry. Craig Lowndes, thank you, liveried entry. Move a little bit further back, Nigel Patton, Derek Jacobs, Michael Shaw also fighting out. He was the driver we saw shoot down onto the apron early on in the race, so that has cost him a little bit of time and certainly some places. Currently down 7 spots from his qualifying position. Pleased to see everyone still running in this race, so looking at the pass here. Oh, Witcher down the inside. He's got real close there. Just a tiny tap as well, but plenty of respect shown. Really, really high line there. Oh, and he's come down. He's come down way too quickly, Dylan. And as a result, he's taken out Justin Witcher, and that is our first caution period for the night. You can see where that started to happen. He got really, really low down in, and I think just meant that through the midsection of the corner he ended up pushing too high on the line and riding the wall, and the steering in that car is badly damaged. But he'll make his way back round into pit lane. Every driver getting a fast repair. You can see how bent the front of that Commodore is. In fact, he's doing well to get it there. You can see guard missing, a wheel with a lot of toe out on it, and it's just saying every driver gets one fast repair in this series per race, and so he'll use that up. Oh, and there goes the motor, in fact, in that car, so he may not even make it round into pit lane. You see the pace truck out on track. He's going to be coasting, surely. And yeah, he has jumped out of that one. He'll get a tow back into pit lane. Should still be able to get the fast repair. So a number of the drivers have jumped into pit lane. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cars opting to jump into pit lane. Good question, Ginger Soul Thief. Leave that with me. I will grab them out for you and give you an update on the point standings for the season. Particularly after last week's race, where there was a few unusual results. So I've just brought them up on the screen for you there. So we've got, it is actually in fact Justin Witcher and Michael Skurlock and Stephen Williams as the top 3 drivers. That means with the damage that just happened there to Witcher that he is going to pay the price a little bit. He's now down in 12th position. Aaron Dillon, I fear, will be out of this race. John Murphy also looks like he's jumped out of the car. So Steve Williams in the pits getting repairs done. Justin Witcher back out on track. So at this stage, Michael Skurlock in the ascendancy, obviously second on track at the moment, second on the current standing. So we'll see how that looks. Heckle2, thanks very much for the follow there. Really appreciate you jumping onto Twitch and giving us a follow. So I'll just flick that one back off there. Do love to engage with the audience, so jump on board and let us know you're there. Have a chat as we get this one through. So yeah, as I mentioned earlier, this is our first caution period, I think, for a fair few laps. Probably 80 or 90 so laps from last week into this week. So the guys get back underway and racing again. So this is Skurlock who takes us away. Greg Spencer, Derek Jacobs up into third position. So he's up 8 spots. It's a little bit of a mixed pack at the moment, of course, with only 4 drivers not having taken a pit stop at that interval. It does open their race up a little bit as well, so interesting to see how the strategy plays out with fewer safety cars in this series. It's not as easy for the guys to, basically rely on the fact that there will be caution periods for them to make those stops and not lose the lap or go down a lap, which of course is the main aim of the game here. I did actually say before that a couple of our drivers were out for the night. That is a mistake. I apologise. Aaron Dillon has got his car repaired and he's back out on track. Must have just still been getting towed. So yeah, just back out, and at this stage a lap down. John Murphy also a lap down. So if there is another caution period, they will get the lucky dog and be able to move their way back around onto the lead lap. So the battle lap at the front. Again, you can see that there, Skurlock on that really high line, high enough to even get our cameras to shake. But it is Aiden Schultz in the Monster Energy drink liveried Falcon at the front of the field. We've got 3 Fords in the field tonight. The numbers are always a little bit thin for the Falcon, but so the cars are basically identical, so it's very much brand preference. It's a fixed series, so the drivers don't have to do any of the setup work, they just have to get in and drive. .42.95, fastest lap of the race so far, quicker than qualifying pace actually, and Aiden Schultz is the fastest of them all at the moment. Steve Williams back out on track as well. He unfortunately is 1 further lap down. You see here the pack's really congested. Schultz, Jackson, Skurlock, Wellman, Neal in that leading group. And it's a stone's throw back to Hurley. Witcher has done well to make his way back up. He's currently in 7th, so that's important from a championship standings perspective that he continues to get his way back up through the field. Yeah, no, Matty, there are no stages tonight. Thanks for that, Heckle. The guys have done away with the staging for the minute, just with the way they had to run it under iRacing using the yellow flag, or called yellow flag. It wasn't working, so they just put the idea on hold for the minute and just running a flat-out 100-lap race. I'm sure they'll try and get a way to have that into Season 2. Because the concept itself obviously works very well, just not able to quite get it done in the fashion that they wanted to. Yeah, they've been trying. They tried a couple of different ways and some practice sessions to sort out a method that would work. But just not able to do it. iRacing's setup, as you would know, is not quite always as flexible as you want it to be to achieve what you need to do. So rather than, I guess, damage the quality of the concept and the race, they've just done away with it for the minute. And last week's race was really, really close, so it certainly is conducive to close racing, which is what we want to see. As we just see some really, really close racing there, with a clip of the fence for Aiden Schultz, and that did cost him a little bit of pace, so he's now dropped down into 4th. As Derek Jacobs jumps into pit lane. But yeah, Season 1, so they'll get it sorted out, and we'll press on. It's one of those things where you are forever learning, trialling, trying to find different ways to make things better. Well, definitely in terms of the professional enough standard, just on using that as a segue, it's a long way from when the series first started. Just talking before the race off stream, there's 41 cars, if memory serves me correctly, in the first race for this series. And albeit we said the numbers are great, it was an absolute crash fest. And in stark contrast to that, last week we basically had 6 cars within a tenth, maybe 2/10 of one another for a majority of the race. Not a skerrick of paint exchanged, and at the end of it, on the last lap, 3rd place, still very much an open book until they crossed the finish line. So the series has developed really well, and will continue to do so. Definitely still would prefer, if we can, to get more races on the track, but with the 17 drivers we've got on track tonight, we're going to end up with some really close racing throughout the 100 laps. So it doesn't necessarily suffer for the lack of numbers at all. And want to keep the series growing. And yeah, absolutely, Michael Shaw, as he's known, he puts this all together. Activity Hub Bali is actually his company, so he's put his own sponsorship behind it as well, and he's working really hard to make sure the concept works. Of course, also running a couple of other NASCAR oval track series throughout the week. So Aiden Schultz has managed to navigate his way back up into first place in that Falcon. Got the thing juiced up and going tonight. There's some tracks that are more suitable to some drivers, some setups as well. And at this stage it does unfortunately look like Derek Jacobs has pulled out of the race. See there, the different lanes the drivers are choosing, so if you're not familiar with it, there's clearly 5 lanes. You can see them on the track there. Looking like that, this higher line is potentially the faster line early on. It will change throughout the race. So, which are in the Phil Mundy livery, the Repair Management Australia, synonymous with Russell Ingle. Not sure that Russell ever ran it in the pink, but maybe he did, I don't know, maybe I didn't see it. I might have done it for breast cancer awareness or something like that, but new livery tonight for him. It is looking good. I love the fact that the guys all basically jump onto a V8 supercar livery, albeit some of the custom liveries, of course, are very good as well. No one running my all-time favourite livery, which is that of the Perkins Castrol Era. Notice too, for those of you who like a little bit of that sort of stuff in that era, that V8 Sleuth, if you do follow V8 Sleuth, I think it's Aaron Noonan, just the guard did get clipped off the right-hand front corner of that Falcon when he clipped the wall. I hadn't picked that up. See that in the back of the footage. But they've been working hard to put together a book. They did a history of the HRT Commodores. Of course, with that now no longer existing, and they've also now just they're hopefully hassling Aaron Noonan about it. Going to launch the Larry Perkins book on Father's Day next year, so be keen for that one. So look out for that. No affiliation at all to any of that stuff that's going on. But yeah, just in terms of the liveries, good to see that one out on track. Yeah, my number one, whenever I'm running vets and I'm not running for our team, I always run that Perkins Castrol Commodore livery. I think it's the engineering attachment, and also the fact that that last to first, that's probably my favourite Bathurst memory. Thus far, there's been others since, but probably still number one watching that race when I was a younger fella, shall we say. So 26 laps in now. Have a look at the pit window. We're not really going to get a good understanding of the pit window for this one because everyone has taken those early stops. So really looking at Greg Spence or Skurlock, maybe it's Steve Payne and Aaron Dillon around when they jump into pit lane to give us a full measure of how many laps the cars will get. I'm going to expect it's going to be about the same as last week, where there was the shorter fill followed by basically only really needing one other stop throughout the race. But with the high track temperatures, every chance that they will want to take tyres as often as they can. Richard Petty STP would be good if they could get that to work. Probably look good. I mean, a lot of the VF Commodore, well, these two particular era V8 supercars, I reckon, are probably the best ones in terms of how they look. So the liveries just, you know, they really stand out. So there, that'd actually be pretty good to see if we could get that, or even if someone wanted to do, of course, the old mellow yellow or something like that. So it's Witcher, Wellman and Skurlock. Gary Wellman up 11 spots and has done his pit service, so he benefited very well from the issues that caused the caution early on in the race on lap 7. onto lap 31 of 100. Oh, there's just a little touch there. Aiden Schultz, Gary Wellman just sliding up in front of him. Schultz doing well just to probably jump off the gas a little. So you can see here the pack really hasn't split up at all. Where are we at now? What's that big leading pack? Probably fair to say there's 10 cars in it as it stands, and this is exactly what we saw last week, so don't go anywhere. That we'll be in for a good finish here if things continue this way. It's the end of the motorsport year as well, and what's been a very compressed year. Yeah, there are. There's only one fast repair that the drivers get access to, and you've got to be careful with that as well, because some of the drivers leave them on. So when you go into pit lane, if you're not haven't done iRacing, you do have to turn on or turn off tyre changes, things like that, and sometimes the drivers forget, and they might have just a small amount of damage to their car. So they have clipped the wall and plucked the guard like Aiden Schultz has. And you may not end up getting something like that repaired normally, because you want to keep that fast repair for if there's a big crash and you unfortunately get tangled up in it. And if you don't untick it, it'll automatically carry out the repair, and then you end up getting stuck thinking you can jump in and get some damage fixed, and you actually can't. So they've got that to manage as well with just the one fast repair. Not sure how the drivers feel about having only the one repair, but from my perspective, it makes it almost as realistic as possible, which is what we're trying to replicate here, of course. There's always opportunity for cars to be repaired for small damage, but for the bigger stuff, of course, not able to get it done. But you've got to make a balance between getting it done and losing cars out of the race. So the top three drivers, 4, 5, 6 drivers now within that second, so that the pack continues. It looks very well spread there, but there's not a lot between basically our top 10 drivers until we get down to Nigel Patton. And even he's in a little bit of a battle with Sean Hurley. Payne and Michael Shaw are fighting as well. So Derek Jacobs at this stage, the only driver not going to finish tonight. A little bit of a gap now opening up for Witcher, is just out to half a second. Just almost enough to break the draft. You can see there though, Barry Neal all over the back of Gary Wellman. sideways there. High track temp, tyre management at this point in the race. Interesting management certainly required. Up Justin Witcher now out into the lead. Biggest move of the night so far is Barry Neal in third place, up 13 positions. Had a strong run last week as well. There's still Gary Wellman now out in front. And no, we'll be halfway through this race. Expecting a raft of pit stops very shortly. Skerlock Spencer still to take a stop. Payne and Dylan likewise. Just updated the overlay software that we use as well, so we're getting a little bit more information than normal, which is good. Steve Payne jumps into pit lane. So keep up with the chat as well, which is good. Thanks for keeping that going, guys. Just talking about updates to NASCAR. Potential impact of those changes as well. Tom and Schultz exchange places. Still haven't seen Skurlock jump into pit lane yet. 45 laps in, that's very surprising. It's definitely going to get to half race distance, I would say. Or is he actually... No, he's not peeling in yet. Able to save a little bit of fuel, obviously being in the back of the pack there. Now see Skurlock jumping into pit lane, so 47 laps he's got through. He'll certainly need to take tyres in the V8 supercar, of course. With fueling, tyres definitely always an option. So he will need to save a little bit of fuel to get to the end of this race, because he benefited from the few laps under the pace car. So we'll definitely need to stop again. But what that means is those who stopped on lap 8, we're now looking at them to stop 8 laps or so from now, probably a little less. So they should then be able to fuel themselves up to the end. And that's where that short stop at the start, just to top up after 6 or 7 laps, has definitely helped them. Hazy view there from the chopper. I'm working on new camera angles with this in the background of iRacing. You're able to jump on board the cameras and change things around and save new sets, and just been playing around with it, trying to get it to work best to give us the best coverage. Excuse me. as we're now halfway through this 100 lap race. There's been a lot of change at the front here. Hayden Schultz there just looking like he was getting a little bit loose. This has cost him some time. Around lap 58 or so they will be in. Field has sort of spread now. Nigel Patton, I just noticed there, under a bit of pressure. Skurlock's gone a lap down, so he will unlap himself there. Make his way back in pursuit of that front pack. I did ask him about his livery once, and he said it was just the first one that came up when he was looking for a livery for the car, so that's just what he decided to run. Seemed like a sound decision-making pathway. Justin Witcher just stretching the gap now. Half a second. 6/10 now in front of Hayden Schultz. And he's stretching his legs. Here we go. He is the first of our drivers to blink. Witcher, Schultz and Hurley have all jumped into pit lane. They'll make their final stops if there aren't any further caution periods. They will be able to run this one right through to the end. They may struggle for tyre by then, but it didn't look like they did at the end of this stint, so perhaps the track temp not playing as much on it as I thought it would. Aaron Dillon's jumped into pit lane as well, so at the moment got Barry Neal, Jackson, Raymond Yeager, Nigel Patton, Michael Shaw as our top five. Michael Skurlock, he will move his way back up. He's looking to jump his way back up onto the lead lap because he will still have to make, we believe, a splash and dash at the end of this one. We have Jackson, Yeager and Shaw in pit lane now. So basically only going to have two drivers left on the track. In fact, even then, Nigel Patton comes in too, so basically just down to Barry Neal. Skurlock here trying to unlap himself, which he should do. Now Barry Neal's in pit lane. Interesting rumour to chuck out into the mix there. Bali Hub Racing. Hayden Schultz will be driving for them next year. Did notice a few cars out there last week with the Bali Hub livery on them. Or Activity Hub Bali, I should say. Barry Neal still in pit lane there, and there's Michael Skurlock now, who has taken the lead of this race. He's got a lead of 8.5 seconds over Gary Wellman. Said he will need to pit. Gary Wellman likewise pitted on lap 46. That was his second stop though, so he may not need to stop again. So as pit stops generally do, they spread the field a little bit, but it's only because it's mixed. And by mixed, I mean we've got our lead two cars still needing to make another pit stop. We've got Finlay, Schultz, Witcher and Jaeger all together. So Schultz probably, I would say at this stage, is actually the adjusted leader of the race in terms of race order. It's just freezed up a little bit there on the track map. Apologies for that. We'll try and get that to kick it. Oh, there it goes as I say it. Try and kick that in the butt to get it going again. Yeah, I did see that he was getting involved with ANSCAR. Of course, we do broadcast the truck series for them. So we're calling out Activity Hub Bali a couple of times across the week, which is good. course, very much enjoy the Anscar streams. Did also stream there. So just a touch on the wall there. By Gary Wellman. Saying we did also stream the 87 Grand National Series for Anscar. May come back to us again next year. And a full calendar of stuff for next year. Sure, he just goes past the cameras on screen there. Looking a bit rough and tumble back here. Jackson, Schultz, Witcher and Neil all fighting. So this, I believe, is really the adjusted lead group of the race. Thanks very much for that. We are trying. It's a little bit trying because obviously this isn't our full-time job like everyone out there, so it's just that's just an excuse more than anything else. We're certainly looking to continue to improve this through into next year. We're working hard in the background when we can to get that done. And of course, appreciate everyone tuning in when they can. If I understand correctly, the trucks aren't something that had been being broadcast on on behalf of Anscar, whether it's ever or certainly recently. And it's really good racing. We only got to jump on board and stream sort of the last two races of this year, and it's really close. Of course, with that being sort of the development series for the Anscar main game, the driving quality is really good. So keen to bring that one, and of course we started out our channel just doing circuit racing, and at the moment it's got down now to be around about a 50-50 split between circuit and oval. Did some midget stuff as well for the boys in New Zealand, the NZSR guys, which I really enjoyed as well. It's high-paced, fast action. It's only a short stream, but it's a full stream, so because we enjoy watching the racing as much as we enjoy participating in it as well, which is why we do what we do. So hopefully all of that coming back to you again next year. So I'm going to be interested to see the drop-off. I've been keeping an eye on the used equipment market, and I just wanted to see the drop-off potentially of people who took up the hobby during COVID, and how many of them would stick around. And it's been a little bit up, but probably not as much as I was expecting, so hopefully that means that people stay in the hobby. Well, there'll certainly be an official broadcast in 2021, which is great, so good to see you getting out there and running as well. Sort of average 20 to 30 trucks every week in that series is really good, so looking forward to bringing that one, and one of our team drivers running in it as well, Luke Trahere, will be contesting that one in 2021, so try and not scape the commentary and keep any bias away. So not too many to go here. We're just about to commence lap 70 of 100. So there'll be a few drivers sweating on saving some fuel, including Michael Skurlock, who pitted earlier than we believe he can to get home, pitting on lap 46, which obviously in a 100-lap race would suggest that he probably won't make it, particularly given that some of those laps were done under pace car. And I keep calling it pace car, it's pace truck, I guess. So he'll need to pit for a splash and dash, we think. Question is, how far out in front will he be when he needs to do it? At the moment, he's 12 seconds out in front. Total pit lane transit time with the splash and dash. You're driving down in and out pit lane for around about 30 seconds. So he's going to need a 40-second lead or so, which you'd think would be very difficult for him to achieve. So he's probably hoping more for a caution than anything else to help him get himself across the line. Yeah, I find myself questioning whether or not I talk about tyres and fuel strategy too much during broadcasts, but it really is the biggest herring in the pack, particularly with the ability for the drivers to pit under the cautions and whether or not they choose to do it and at what time. Tyres being more critical, not more critical, but they do seem to be more critical in oval track racing than in circuit racing, just from a drop off of pace. So and obviously you can have that play right into your hands if you leave it late and manage to get a caution, as we just see a big slide there again. From Aidan Schultz in the Falcon. In fact, I think that might have even been Nigel Patton, my apologies, in the Falcon. So, yeah, so you could certainly throw a few curveballs into the broadcast and into the race even more so. Submit as well. I've found myself racing a lot less at the moment, partly to do with temperature as well. I run VR when I race. I've really got appropriate cooling in my house for me to do that. Won't be a problem once I eventually move, but for this summer it's going to be tough. I remember last year, around about Christmas, didn't have many opportunities to race, but I did get new screens. At that stage I wasn't racing in VR and it was way too hot to race even then, so not sure how I'm going to go with the goggles on. Yeah, where we're moving, we're building a house, but it won't be ready because of COVID now. It's not going to be ready until next year, so the whole house is air conditioned, which is going to be absolutely brilliant. But at the moment, I'm living in a house that has one wall air conditioner in the kitchen, the old 1980s knock a few bricks out and shove it through a hole style, and definitely does not get into the office, which is now, well, what's become the office. It was the sim room, but it's now the office with the streaming setup and everything, while we've not been able to stream from the office at work. And yeah, it gets mighty hot in here. So the fan on helps. Doesn't help when I'm commentating, obviously, but can run it when I'm doing solo races. But when we do the team events, we're running in Daytona in February. I'm certainly not necessarily that excited about the prospect of doing that 24-hour race on a with a pedestal fan. So see what sort of solutions I can rig up before that rolls around. That'll be here before we know it. Already starting practice for it and setups and what have you, so be running that in the Porsche. I think we also have the Audi as well, so No, yeah, no, that's exactly the prospect I'm facing. A couple of the guys have got those. They've got high-speed fans that they use piping and pipe the air directly up at their face. So I'm going to have a look at some of those. But as I said, it can be difficult when you're in a team event. Maybe a teammate, when you push the button, just hearing all the bloody breeze going right through the microphone. So just not too sure about the solution there. But I guess if the other alternative is me wasting away, there's not too much chance of that happening. But not doing too well in the heat while you're racing, then you've got to sort of make it work. So have a look at some solutions there. Yeah, I will do. Yeah, one of the guys in our team's got it as well. I'm just a little bit behind in getting it all set up. So actually hoping to upgrade the rig at some stage. And there it is. We've got into pit lane now. Is our race leader. So much shorter stint, that second stint, 24 laps to go. Just want to see if he's taking tyres. It will only be a splash and dash for Skurlock. He's come in earlier than Greg. Aiden Schultz in pit lane as well. It's a weird one there. That's saying that he's been in there for a long time, so I'm not sure what's going on with that. But set him up in the air there. He will get tyres, no doubt. It's a much bigger stop again than I was expecting as well, so anyway. And off he goes. So that's almost a full stop there. 16 seconds shy of a complete stop that we've seen throughout the race. So he will now have his work cut out for him, as he's actually gone a lap down. And my apologies, he's not just on the lead lap, just in front of the lead pack here with Jaeger, Jackson, Finlay, Neil. So 21 to go. These guys stopped on lap 56. So they may get to the end of this race. So this could be for the lead. For the win. Barry Neal in third. Second or so further back down the road. And Christopher Finlay likewise. So as you can see there, that is Michael Skurlock. Trying to make sure that he does not go down another lap. She wondered how many people out there might seriously actually run a helmet and a race suit, full fire suit when they jump in the rig. I actually do use my my real racing gloves, mainly because of the thickness they add. It's got the little TS, the Thrustmaster steering wheel at the moment. It's too small if I race for long periods of time to get hand cramp, so thicker gloves help to make that less likely to happen. Otherwise, it's barefoot, shorts and singlet territory. You could otherwise end up over-committing, under-delivering. So we're still just waiting to see if anyone else needs to pit. Christopher Finlay is going to run real close. He jumped through the lane on lap 51. Said, of course, with that caution period, that would have helped him stretch that. So I'd say he's not going to make it to the end unless he can conserve fuel. .16 to go. We'll be joined by our podium at the end of this race, so just stick around. Of course, coming up on the channel, we've got Tuesday night, the second wildcard round of Ozpass. Going to be heading to Watkins Glen and actually running in the 87 Series NASCARs for their wildcard round. Before we make the switch across to the GTEs for the second leg of that championship. They're running GT1 for the first part. I've decided to move away from that and jump into the GTEs for the Americas leg. So do join us for that one. We're getting back into some of our other streaming content as well over the holiday period. Some more of the Fall Guys, Rocket League, soccer, etc. that we've been bringing to you. Obviously, if motorsport is your thing, we will still be doing that. Ozpass running right through to February, so that stream will still happen over the holiday period. This one concluding on December 20, so. .13 laps left. We've got Finlay and Spencer into pit lane. Suspect Spencer wouldn't make it to the end, and he's not going to. So that lap 56, looking like it's the sweet spot. So Michael Skurlock still in the lead lap, so he's going to move himself back up into 5th position. He's not too far off Nigel Patton either. It's about 5.5 seconds. Could be difficult to bridge that gap with 12 to go. Skurlock just goes zooming past the camera there. Barry Neal, Raymond Yeager, Paul Jackson fighting at the front here. It's going to come down to these three for the lead. Nigel Patton a little too far further back to make anything happen there. And like last week, it's going to be decided on the final lap, you'd feel. Christopher Finlay trying to unlap himself there as well, as you're quite entitled to do. There's no need to worry about blue flags. So he's quite entitled to keep pushing the point. To go. He certainly has been right at the front of the field, Barry, all week. Oh, every week, I should say. 14 spots up as well tonight. Jaeger up 16 spots, Jackson up 12, so big moves for them as well. Actually ended up now with half a dozen cars that aren't going to finish tonight, which are Schultz, Hurley, Dillon, Murphy and Jacobs. So I end up with 11 survivors. Barry Neal's just edged away in the lead now. Leaving Jaeger and Jackson fighting behind him. You can see them there next to one another. Six to go. It certainly helps to run in numbers here where you can. Just mentioning that Neil and Jackson are actually teammates. Obviously helps you work together to try and move away. You can see there that Jaeger's just falling a little bit off the pace. It's Christopher Finlay there, just moving out of the way. No obligation to do so, but 5 laps to go. Don't want to be that driver that takes the win away from someone. Jaguars close the gap up now. 3 laps to go. Going to try and get the job done now. Yeah, he's managed to get a good run on Barry Neal. And he should close that out there. He should be able to pin him up into the wall. In fact, he's run high. I don't know if that's deliberate or not to try and get some extra pace. Find a better line. Jaguar now up into second. He's got a good run on as well. So we're going 3 wide. Trying to sort this out. He's now up in the high section of the track. 2 to go. This is going to be on right through the last lap. They'll get the white flag as they come around this time. Just got to make sure he keeps the run. It tucks in behind them here. Yeah, got to give himself the best opportunity to slingshot by. He's just lost a little bit there. Seems to close up here. You can see there the gap, but you can see him just get pulled right in by the draft. We're coming around the final corner here. He's trying to put the nose down the inside. He's going to try to keep it clean as well. Is he going to get it done? I don't think he's going to be able to do much about it, is he? Looks like it's going to be Jackson Neal from Jaguar. And it'll be a 1-2 for the boys from New Zealand. Great race there from all 3 of them to keep it clean and get the job done. And a really good way to finish the race. There to be a little bit disappointed, Jaguar, no doubt, that he didn't get across for the W. But good driving from all of them. Gave us that close finish, which we always love. Much better to get a close finish than anything else. Thanks very much for the like there, Brian. I'm glad you enjoyed the stream. And thank you to everyone who's tuned in this evening to keep us company while we got through the race. Obviously the required celebrations at the conclusion of the race. Yeah, I've probably moved away from trying to pronounce the name, if I were brutally honest. I did get the coaching tip last week, and it's changing a habit of a lifetime. So I'm not quite sure that I'm going to be able to do it. So for this week, it's just the guys from New Zealand, and that's where we'll leave it. But no, they've done a great job. Ayatoa, not even close. So I'm just not going to murder it this week. Just going to leave well alone, and we'll get the guys into the booth and have a chat with them about the race in just a moment or two. In fact, they're just jumping in now, so bring them up and we'll get them in for a chat. And on what was a really, really great finish to be able to bring to you all. I'm actually joined already by our podium there, starting with Paul Jackson first, Barry Neal second, and Raymond Jaguar bringing out third place. Paul, congratulations, another really strong week.
Yeah, thanks, man. I was just sort of sitting back there towards the end and just talking, and we're just trying to work out a bit of a strategy, just how we could try and get the cars 1-2 at the end there.
Well, and obviously paid off for you. leaving Raymond with a difficult job of trying to work out a way to get by the teammates. But it was really good, clean racing from everyone, and a good finish overall.
Yeah, it was. It was quite hairy at some points. You go 3 wide, sort of through the middle and whatnot in the early stages of the race, but and there was a big sort of pack there at the start there as well. So sort of got to the front, done the lead laps and that, and just sort of dropped back a bit and watched everything unfold till the end.
And that early caution as well ended up splitting the strategies. We had pretty much I think probably 4 or 5 drivers stick to their strategy, and they had to end up pitting at the end there, particularly Skurlock as well. But the early stop seemed to pay out well for those that did it.
Yeah, I did notice sort of a handful of cars stay out there, and we sort of ducked in and took some tyres then and come back out and had a bit of pace on them, so, and the fuel advantage, obviously.
Yeah, it was the one we were trying to work out as well. So, but still played out in the end. And Barry, congratulations on bringing it home at the second part of the Team 1-2.
Yeah, no, thanks. That was we talked about it before after last week's race with a 1-3. We wanted a 1-2 this week, so we're very pleased to have a 1-2.
And I'm not going to lie, I did not say your team name once throughout the entire stream because I still have not got it right. So I'll get you to just announce the team name again.
Aotearoa.
Yep.
Look up on YouTube and you'll find out how to pronounce it.
I'll need to get some coaching because it's a change of habit of a lifetime. So it's something that I can do in a week. But obviously a really good result there for you guys to get the 1-2 for the team as well. And Raymond, another week of what could have been.
Yeah, honestly, pretty stoked to finish third. Early on, I thought I had no chance of being anywhere near anyone. Turns out there was a secret. You had to switch down to 5th gear during the corners, and that I wasn't doing. But yeah, once I figured that out, we sort of found some pace, and yeah, pretty good in the end. Those boys, teammates, obviously made it difficult, but they raced really well. Great race.
Yeah, it was nice and clean, which was great to see. And, looked like you might have just got snuck yourself up there into second place as we're getting towards the closing part of the second last lap and towards the end of the last lap, but it just wasn't to be. But obviously a really strong performance as well. Yeah, excited to see what's going on. I heard some rumours about what you might be doing in terms of teammates for next year during the stream. So hopefully that will help you as well in the coming year.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, on that last lap there, I had to back out of it coming out of 4 because I was going to hit Barry. Obviously wanted to stay clean. Thought about just wrecking him, but nah, it's not what we're about. Not what we're about. So didn't do it. Yeah, no. In terms of teammates, yeah, the team will be expanding next season. But yeah, that'll all get announced a bit later on.
Absolutely. So we won't steal too much of that thunder for you, but no, certainly good things to come. So as we always do, Barry, just I guess Barry and Paul, just the people that you'd like to thank for their support.
Oh, yep, Paul for being the teammate, and Shorey and Brad and Greg and everyone else that does the admin and stuff. That's fantastic, and you for putting it on.
Paul?
Yeah, once again, Barry, teammate, again, Shorey, Brad and Greg for the work they do, and yourself for the streaming you're doing as well. It's great to watch the stream back again as well. Might be on the lookout for a sponsor. If anyone's interested, then feel free to hit us up.
Absolutely, and get in contact. Reach out if you can't get there directly. Certainly reach out to Shorey through the organisation's page, which is on our stream. And if you're wanting to get involved in supporting some of the drivers, they would certainly take you up on the offer. And last but not least, Raymond, I'm sure you've got some people you want to thank.
Yeah, absolutely. All the boys at E1 Sim Racing, just rebranded actually, but with Coghlan Race Engineering, Total IT Solutions up in Brisbane. Those boys give us a bit of help out, which is always good. Obviously, Shorey for Run the League, man, he does a lot of work. He puts a lot into it. Does amazing stuff, to be honest. And yourself for broadcasting it, mate. It's really good stuff.
I don't know, is it all? Yeah, but I reckon sure he puts in more hours running the series that he runs than just about anyone else I see, including myself running our stuff. So he puts
he's
in
an incredibly hard worker, mate. Incredibly hard worker. He puts a lot into it.
Extraordinarily large number of hours. So, and it's paying off because it just keeps getting better and better. Yeah, thank you guys for jumping into the booth and speaking with us again tonight. Obviously, we'll see you next week when we head to the Brickyard. And that'll be one that I'm really looking forward to. We haven't actually streamed anything from there yet, so yeah, looking forward to getting involved in that next Sunday night. So, as we spoke about earlier in the stream, for us, we're back on Tuesday night with Ozpass and their wildcard round from Watkins Glen in the 87 NASCARs before they kick off their America's leg of that season. So we'll see you back here on Tuesday night at around about 7:45, and we'll bring that race to you then. Until then, as always, thank you very much for watching. The stream was really active tonight in the chat, so we appreciate all you guys jumping in too, and we will see you on FGM eCast, your e-place for pace, on Tuesday evening. Thanks very much for watching.